Chapter 9 of The Flying Eyes by J. Hunter Holly. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 9. Morning ticked away into afternoon, and they stayed in the lab, taking turns with the eye. They promised themselves that they would work until each could stand alone, without the other to pull him away, without the need to be pulled away. But at 2 o'clock a knock sounded on the door, and Iverson stepped in. He came 3 steps forward, then 2 steps back as he spotted the eye floating in its cage.
"Oh," Iverson grunted. "I didn't know you had it uncovered."
"Come on in," Link said. "I'll put the tarp over it." He covered the eye.
"Ugly thing, isn't it?"
Iverson said, suppressing a grimace.
"And so big."
"We're whittling it down to size," Wes said proudly.
"Do you really think so?"
Iverson sounded doubtful. He drew a great breath.
"I don't want either of you to take this as a personal slight or rejection, but the situation around town is getting so bad. Neighbor against neighbor, the whole population hiding and sneaking and stealing, that we can't wait. Panic is spreading. The rest of the state is nervous, ready to explode at the first rumor of the eyes heading out to them, and the country as a whole is jumpy. We've had to hire extra men just to keep the reporters out of here. Something has to be done, and done now."
"We're working as fast as we can," Link protested.
"On your plan, yes, but we can't wait for one plan. We have to try every idea that comes along. Colonel Stanley and the National Guard have come up with one, and we're putting it into operation this afternoon. In 1 hour, to be exact."
"If it has soldiers in it, then I take it it's fighting," Link stated. "Are you and Stanley actually going to let them risk their lives again?"
Iverson waved him down. "You jump too fast, Link. The new effort might work. Stanley has incorporated one of your own ideas into it. You caught your eye with tear gas. Well, this fighting is going to be with tear gas. The Guard is going to attack the hole and get inside it. With the eyes incapacitated, maybe they can be destroyed."
"So they're going to fight at 3 o'clock. Why did you bother to tell us?"
"I thought you'd like to come along to observe. If anything does go wrong, then what you see will help with your own planning. You can always use information, and you've never seen the hole, have you?"
"No," Link admitted.
"Then come see it with me."
Link looked to Wes, and the other man shrugged. "Why not? We can get a look and watch the Guard's effort at the same time."
"Good."
Iverson took Wes's acceptance as agreement for both of them.
"We'll have to leave right away. I have a car ready."
They drove along the edge of town, headed for open country. The driver turned for the game preserve, and Iverson said,
"We're not going in close. We'll be standing off. I've brought binoculars."
"If we're going at all, we may as well go in," Link sputtered.
"I'm following Stanley's orders," Iverson replied. "This is his show and his command. If we ever have one of our own, I'll expect him to abide by our say-so."
The car swung into a narrow lane. There were slight hills here, rolling and wooded, and they passed through brush, hearing the scrape of branches on the fenders. Ahead rose the tower of a fire-spotting station, and when they left the car, Iverson led them up to the small room that served as home and office for the Watcher. Link moved to the big glass windows, looking for the place where the hole would be, black and eerie in the trees.
"To the north,"
Iverson directed him. He looked northward, and it wasn't hard to spot. From this height, the worn path the zombie people had followed was visible from the road to the place it stopped inside the forest, and the hole crouched at the end of it, black and featureless. It wasn't just a hole now, because there were no people on the path and no activity, but as he watched, the mouth of the hole changed from stillness to movement, and the distended shape of an eye sailed up out of it, then another. They hovered above the clearing. He squinted and saw movement inside the woods, too. Soldiers, the National Guard, moving up for their fight.
"It's time," Iverson said. "They should be starting."
The words were barely uttered when the exploding mist of gas rose from the face of the hole, and the woods came alive with the running, gas-masked figures of guardsmen. They dashed forward, and Link grabbed the binoculars to get a close look. The 2 eyes which had been hovering were bobbing up and down, weeping and spinning in the gas. A breeze was spreading the gas low, enveloping the soldiers. It spread, clearing the mouth of the hole, and close behind it, as it left an open space, came the eyes in force. Blue, brown, green, they zoomed up and through the smoky wisps, 8 of them, quick and deadly. The woods blazed with gunfire, and the battle repeated itself before Link's sickened gaze. There were just too many eyes. The soldiers had no chance. They advanced bravely, but Link could see the impending result so clearly that he wanted to shout to them to run. The eyes were above the gas, obscured from the soldiers' vision, aligning themselves for their own attack. As the gas cleared in one area, and the guardsmen became visible to them, the eyes tipped forward, staring at the ground, ignoring the wounds inflicted on them, and one by one the soldiers fled or limply dropped their weapons and walked into the hole. 5 went down into the blackness, then 10 more, and Link swung away from the view.
"They're losing half their men," he shouted at Iverson. "You should have stopped Stanley. When you fail with a method once, you don't keep trying it again and again and throwing men away."
Iverson was peering through his own binoculars. His face was white and his lips moved in silent words.
"Poor devils."
The words finally came to voice.
Poor devils. 8 eyes. They can't fight 8 eyes. And more coming in from town.
Link swallowed the pity he felt for the soldiers and growled, "Let's go, Iverson. Now that we've seen what we came to see, allow us to get back to our own work. Every minute away is a minute too much." Daylight shadowed into night and bloomed into day again as Link and Wes worked the clock around. 2 days gone in the strain of practice, another day started. But they were learning. On Link's last turn, he had stood against the eye for a half hour, giving up from fatigue and not as a result of Wes's saving tug. Wes had managed to fight for 15 minutes. Link was before the cage, using his will against the will of the eye when Collins came in. He didn't knock, he just walked in and stood, watching the silent fight. As Link noticed him, he withdrew from the eye.
"What was that all about?"
Collins asked. "You'd never understand," Link answered.
"Oh? So what do you have to show for 3 days closed in this room?"
Collins wanted to know.
"What have you accomplished?"
"That will become apparent as we progress," Link said. "But right at this moment, we know more about the eyes and their power than anyone else on Earth."
"What good does knowledge do?" Collins asked cockily. "Are you trying to understand them? To get to know them so you can take them to the negotiating table?"
"You're very funny," Link answered. "How you can be such a wit at a time is more than I can understand." Collins smiled and sat down.
"I'm not worried anymore. While you've been shut away in here, I've been using my head, and things are coming my way."
"That business with the tear gas and the guard wasn't your brain work, was it?" Wes asked him.
"No, that was strictly soldiering. I told Stanley it wasn't drastic enough. Halfway measures aren't going to win this fight. Neither is staring at an eye and giving it human qualities. Now, my plan is simple. That part is for you, Link, and completely workable. It will finish the job in minutes."
"Okay," Wes was saying. "Let's hear it."
Collins set his sharp face in arrogant lines, and his voice dropped a pitch as he explained. "Guns don't work. Tear gas doesn't work. Field pieces don't work. But we've been forgetting our biggest weapon. A nuclear bomb. A bomb dropped right on that stinking hole while the eyes are inside it. And in one explosion we rid ourselves of them forever. They couldn't survive that."
Link was silent. There was something wrong with Collins' scheme, but he couldn't quite chase it down. Wes said it for him.
"Impossible. There are thousands of people down in that hole, Collins. Thousands of innocent, helpless people. You'd get the eyes, but what about the people?"
Collins was quick with his answer.
"They've been considered. They'll have to be sacrificed. The few for the many in this case. There are thousands now, but if they die and the eyes die with them, that will save millions. They'll have to be sacrificed."
Wes leaned back, white with the idea of wholesale murder done in the name of goodness and prevention. "Don't worry about it, Wes," Link said. "Collins has overlooked a major point." He addressed his assistant now, glad to be able to pierce his bubble of egotism. "You can't detonate a bomb out there any more than we could let the reactor go when Hendricks tried to set it off. A bomb would kill the town, the campus."
"That has been considered too," Collins answered. "If we put the plan into effect, and I'm sure we will, then the area will be evacuated."
Link shook his head. The scheme was so full of holes that it was almost laughable.
"Evacuation's ridiculous. Try it and you won't be evacuating people out of the area, you'll be evacuating people to the eyes. They pounce on groups, they pick them to pieces." "And a slow evacuation?"
Collins asked. To be slow enough to escape the eyes, it would take weeks. You really fumbled the ball this time. Collins stood up. Tear it apart all you like, Hostler. It still will be done. Iverson and Stanley are coming to it fast. I've got their ears now. You've wasted too much time in here. If the evacuation has to be slow, then it will be slow, but it will be done. We don't have the time. Link was exasperated. Why did he have to point everything out? Explain everything to men who are supposed to know? Those eyes want something. The devil only knows what. But they want something, and soon they're going to make a new move. And what are you going to do about it? Have you accomplished anything here? All right, tell me what your investigation has discovered. Do you know what the eyes are? Where they come from? If there will be more coming? Or what they do with the people they take away? If we can destroy them, who cares where they come from or why? And if more appear, we'll destroy them too. As for people Wes is so worried about, there's a theory going around that there aren't any people down in that hole. We've seen them go in, Wes countered. But not come out, Collins said. How many could get in that hole? How much room is there in it? It would be overflowing by now if they were still there. Then where does the current theory say they are? Link was biting. Collins' eyes pierced into his, and one word hissed out between his lips. Eaten. Wes whirled away to stare out of the window. Link recoiled too at the memory of Myers walking from the lab. Eaten? He had never considered it. But it was a possibility. Eaton, Myers, and the rest. No. You're crazy, he spat at Collins. This eye, here in this cage, it hasn't taken food of any kind, and it hasn't grown weak without it. Have you offered it anything? Collins was snide. Link couldn't answer that because he hadn't offered it anything. He hadn't even considered it. What would an eye eat? The whole subject was fantastic and revolting. How would an eye eat? Collins was chuckling at his consternation. I finally stumped you, haven't I? He said to Link. Finally! I knew it could be done. He turned for the door, glancing again at the eye in the cage. You two stay here and play with your pet. Stanley and Iverson and I will fight the battle. The door slammed behind him, and Link spat out a curse. Yet, being honest, he had to consider what Collins had said and consider it seriously. The one point, the dimension of the hole and the number of people who had gone into it, made it necessary to consider. Where were those people? Why weren't they overflowing the black pit inside the woods? End of chapter 9.